Hello, it's Earth Lovers Oracle here, Stella speaking. Today I'm going to do a little reading on the new moon because we have a new moon in Gemini. New moons are quite exciting because they're little seeds and they're quite powerful. I mean, with a full moon you expect there to be, everything comes to a head, people go slightly bananas, things happen, the tides are controlled by the full moon, but the new moon, sometimes one can feel strangely emotional around it because we've just come out of what they call the void of the moon, which is there's no little slither of the moon in the sky because it's gone completely down, it's had a rest. And so it's like we're coming out of the darkness again, and emotionally, and the new moon each month gives us an opportunity to reset our direction. And short term we could say, oh, for the month, but these are things that we put into place that could have far-reaching effects, for a few months ahead, for a couple of years ahead. And the new moon today is in Gemini, and when the new moon has just got dropped into Gemini, and also the sun has just dropped into Gemini, and they've met, so that it's like there's a twinning of the sun and the moon, which is rather beautiful. So there you have the full moon situation. And in the sign of Gemini, or Gemini is an air sign, and is about communication, writing, language, speaking, chatting, being witty. The Geminian mind works very, very, very fast. Often they're quite good at wheeler dealing or commerce and for ideas, and quite often you get people who are real fashionistas who are Geminis, because they're very quick with their ideas and what's on trend. So it's quite a fluid energy. And Gemini is a mutable sign, which means it's all about communicating information. It's giving something. It's not kind of stuck. So if you have something that you particularly would love to start today, and especially if it's in the field that I've just mentioned, sort of book writing, starting your own YouTube channel, recording something, it could be anything that has innovation in it. It would be a very good time to do it today. You need to allow some space, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, just to write down or think in your mind what you'd like to happen, and try and be as clear as you can. And I think the trick is not to put too many wants on your list. So you could want to help to have let's say the mindset to overcome financial problems, or you want resolution with a lover. You could have both of those, but probably I would say no more than about 2 things, so that your order is put in and will be more successful in the planting. Otherwise it's too fragmented, going off in too many directions. But it can actually be anything heartfelt that you really want to happen. Interestingly enough, around this time, the planet Venus, which is also in Gemini, is going backwards. So it's kind of calling people. It might call you to look somebody up that you once loved, an old relationship that you feel isn't entirely over, or with a friendship or a family member where you've had a bit of a discommunication between them, or even a big bust up. You may want to take moves, but only if you want to, where you feel that feel in your heart that something is worth salvaging. So there's a lot to do with that. That's what to do with the new moon today. And then we have the on the left hand side, a time for healing. That has just happened with just before the new moon. It was the last little crescent of the moon, where you're checking in with yourself just to see that there is no residue left over. And so really with the new moon we're starting afresh, to try and, you know, begin a new cycle. So the card on the right hand side is the energy is gaining momentum. That's the waxing moon. So we obviously haven't got there quite yet. We have the tiniest sliver of the new moon. It's like the faint seed of hope, and the waxing moon will then follow that. And so we're in a cycle where the moon gains momentum until it gets to the full moon in 2 weeks' time. So by degrees it gets there. So any seed that you want planted now, it is in its growing phase and it has the right climate around it to come into fruition. At the top of the page, I've got the phases of the moon. At the top, where it's 12 o'clock on the clock, it's the full moon. At the bottom, it's the dark moon. But then on the little sliver at the bottom on the left hand side, on the right hand side, is the new moon. So it goes up until it's full and then it comes down again. And these cards are the Moonology cards by Yasmin Boland, the astrologer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you get something from it, and I'll see you soon. Take care.